All right, so you're getting ready for a conceptual artist interview.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So
Yes.
we've got this stack of RoleCatcher resources
Mm.
that should really help you nail this thing.
Yeah, it's really more than just interview tips.
Right.
It's like you're getting a sneak peek into the career itself
That's
through
yeah.
all these insights and
And that's what we're going to do in this deep dive.
yeah.
We're going to tackle the most common questions,
Okay.
but we're going to go beyond those kind of like textbook answers
Yeah.
and really bring out your unique perspective.
Showcase what makes you you as an artist.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, and
excellent.
we'll sprinkle in some.
Exactly. And plus we're going to sprinkle in some like real career advice, you
Yeah.
know, straight from the field and how RoleCatcher's AI
Oh, yeah.
can give you that extra edge.
I mean, it's like having a personalized coach in your pocket.
It is. Yeah.
Help get you ready for this thing.
Absolutely. All right. So first things first.
What is a conceptual artist?
Right. Because it's not just like
Really, you know.
throwing random stuff together
Yeah.
and, you know, calling it art.
It's more than just weird art, right?
Right. Exactly.
That's what I think some people think.
Yeah. And the guide actually emphasizes this really well.
Yeah.
It's all about, you know, repurposing those like everyday things
Right.
into something that's thought-provoking,
Yeah.
into a piece that engages the public
Yeah.
and, you know, gets people talking.
It sparks a dialogue.
Starts a conversation.
Yeah.
And less about like the traditional gallery setting
Yeah.
and more about, you know, like an interactive experience.
Yeah.
And speaking of interactive experiences,
Okay.
it can take so many forms, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're talking 2D art, 3D art, even what's called 4D art.
Oh, I've heard of 4D art, but I don't really.
So like imagine like a performance piece,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like an installation that changes over time or even something that like brings the audience in
Oh, wow.
to participate.
Okay, so that's where that fourth dimension
Exactly.
comes into play.
Time is the fourth dimension.
Okay.
That's where things get really, really interesting.
I like it. All right, so speaking of interesting,
Okay.
let's jump into a question that I'm sure you're going to encounter.
Okay.
Walk me through your creative process when starting a new project.
Ah, the classic.
Right. So it seems pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
but they're not just looking for a step-by-step guide.
Oh, definitely not.
It's more than that.
They want to know how your mind works.
Right. So
How do you approach challenges?
how do you,
Where do your ideas come from?
where do those sparks come from?
Yeah, and then how do you refine those ideas
Yeah.
into something real, you know, like a concrete plan?
Into a tangible.
Exactly. And the guide even mentions something that might seem basic,
Okay.
sketching,
Yeah.
but it's important.
It shows that you can take those ideas.
Exactly. It shows you can translate those big ideas into something tangible.
And it's that balance, it's that balance of
Right.
visionary thinking,
Right?
but also that practicality.
Right. You got to have both.
You got to have both.
Yeah.
And here's where you can really stand out.
Okay. I'm listening.
Connect your process to the job.
Tailor it to the job.
Tailor it to the specific job.
Yeah. So, for example,
Well, let's say.
if you're applying to a studio that you know really focuses on public installations,
Uh-huh.
you're going to want to talk about
Okay.
how you think about site specificity
Yeah.
in your process.
Right.
Or if they're all about interactive experiences,
Right.
you're going to highlight those collaborative brainstorming methods. You know what I mean? It's all about showing them that you get it.
Yeah, and RoleCatcher's AI can actually,
Yeah, don't even get me started on that.
it can actually help you analyze the job description
It's amazing.
and tailor your answer
Yeah.
to emphasize those key skills that they're looking for.
It's like having a personalized cheat sheet
It is,
in the best way possible.
but in the best way possible.
Right.
Okay, so another question that often pops up
Okay.
is, how do you stay up to date with current trends and techniques in the industry?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
And it's easy to fall into those generic answers.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I read magazines.
Yeah, read magazines is not going to cut it.
It's not going to cut it.
You got to showcase that proactive approach.
Yes, and the guide suggests this beautifully.
Like, have you taken online courses on, like, emerging technologies in art?
Right.
Or have you done any artist residencies?
Yeah, artist residencies.
Where you're, like, you know, experimenting
Yeah.
with new materials or concepts.
Pushing those boundaries.
Right.
And those are the kinds of details that
Yeah.
show that you're not just, like, passively absorbing information.
Right.
You're out there seeking it out.
You're actively pushing your boundaries.
And this is where RoleCatcher comes in again.
I love this part.
They have a massive database of over 14,000 resources.
I mean, come on, that's insane.
It's crazy.
From articles and courses
Yeah.
to workshops and events.
Think of it as your curated library.
I love
They're staying ahead of the curve.
Right, because you can even save and categorize those resources
Yes.
based on your interests, so you can easily,
Reference them
reference them.
during interview prep.
Ooh.
All right, speaking of prep,
Okay,
let's tackle a question that can feel a bit daunting.
okay.
Can you give an example of a time you had to think outside the box to solve a creative problem?
Ooh, I love this one.
This is where you get to showcase your ingenuity.
Yeah,
But-
but it's not just about telling a good story.
Right.
It's about highlighting the skills you use.
Yeah.
So, did you have to adapt your installation to an
Okay.
unexpected location?
Right. Did you have to rethink your materials because of budget constraints?
Exactly. And the guide mentions this phrase, making artistic processes explicit. What that means is
Yeah.
you need to walk them through your thought process.
Oh, so show your work.
Exactly. Show your work.
Show how you arrived at that innovative solution.
Yeah, it's like giving them a peek behind the curtain of your creative genius.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Right. And this is where...
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI video practice feature
Oh my gosh, tell me more.
can be so helpful.
I'm ready.
You can record yourself
Okay.
answering the question and get feedback
On what?
on your clarity,
Yeah.
your pacing, even your body language.
Oh, wow. So it's
Like a virtual mock interview.
yeah, but with the added benefit of AI analysis.
Exactly.
Picking up on all those little things.
All those subtle things that can make a big difference.
It's amazing.
Okay, let's move on to another crucial aspect of being a conceptual artist.
All right, let's do it.
Collaboration.
Oh, huge one.
They're going to want to know
Yeah.
how you approach working with others.
Yeah. Because a lot of these projects
Because so many projects
involve a team effort.
involve a
You
team.
got to be able to play nice.
And this question can come in many forms.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They might ask about a time you had to balance your artistic vision
Mm-hmm.
with client needs.
Or how you handle creative differences.
Right. Or even just your general approach to communication and teamwork.
Right. Because at the end of the day, it's all about
Exactly.
showcasing that you can be both a leader and a team player.
Right. And remember, collaboration isn't just about getting along with others.
Oh, it's so much more than that.
It's about leveraging all those different perspectives
Yeah.
to create something truly unique and impactful.
Yeah, it's like you're taking all those different voices
Mhm.
and you're blending them together
Yeah.
to create this beautiful harmony.
And the guide actually gives some excellent examples
Oh, really?
of successful collaborations,
Cool.
which can spark some ideas for how to frame your own experiences.
Okay, I like it.
So think about a time when a teammate's suggestion sparked a new direction in your project,
Oh, yeah.
or when you had to negotiate a compromise
Okay.
that ultimately strengthened the final piece.
Yeah, because those are the kind of stories that show
Yeah.
you're willing to, work together towards a common goal.
And again, RoleCatcher's AI can be a fantastic resource
Okay, how?
for tailoring your responses
Okay.
to specific job roles.
Yeah.
So imagine inputting the job description and getting personalized suggestions
Ooh, that's cool.
for how to emphasize your teamwork skills
Yeah.
based on the employer's specific needs.
That's like having a behind-the-scenes look at their expectations.
Right.
So you can walk in feeling confident that you're speaking their language.
Exactly. Okay. We've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But there's one more question I want to touch on
Okay.
before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive.
I'm ready.
It's a question that's becoming increasingly important in the art world.
Okay.
How do you ensure that your work meets accessibility and inclusivity standards?
Oh, that's a really important one.
Yeah. And this one can feel a little tricky,
Yeah.
especially since the guide doesn't offer specific answers.
Right.
But
But that's actually an opportunity.
that's an opportunity to shine
Yeah.
because it shows that you're already thinking critically about these issues,
Yeah.
which is huge.
It's a huge plus.
So have you considered
Yeah.
incorporating audio descriptions into your installations for visually impaired audiences,
Oh, that's a good idea.
or using tactile elements for those who are unable to see the work?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
You could also talk about how you research and represent diverse perspectives in your work,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring that your art reflects the richness and complexity of the world we live in.
I think that's where your genuine interest
Yeah.
and your, proactive thinking will really resonate with the interviewer.
Yes, it shows you're not just following trends,
Right.
but you're genuinely committed to creating art
Yeah.
that is welcoming and meaningful for everyone.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to acknowledge that you're still learning
Right.
and evolving in this area.
It's a journey, not a destination.
It is.
And demonstrating that commitment to continuous growth
Yes.
is always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Absolutely.
And you know what? That's a perfect segue into part 2,
Okay.
where we're going to delve even deeper into these questions.
Awesome.
We'll explore some potential follow-up questions.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about how RoleCatcher can help you fine-tune your answers
All right.
to land that dream job.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Welcome back to our deep dive on prepping for your conceptual artist interview.
So we've laid the groundwork.
Okay.
We've explored some of those key questions.
You've got a good foundation.
And now it's time to get a little bit more strategic.
Yeah, let's take it to the next level.
Let's dig into those follow-up questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
It could really make you shine.
Because, the initial question is just the starting point.
It's exactly.
You got to be ready for those follow-ups.
So remember that creative process question we talked about?
Oh, yeah. Walk me through your process.
That one, it's a classic.
It's a classic. Everybody asks that one.
And it's almost always followed up with something
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that kind of tests,
It's like they're trying to see.
how you think on your feet.
Yeah, exactly.
So they might ask like,
Like they might throw something at you.
Yeah.
Like, what's your biggest strength when it comes to brainstorming?
Okay.
Or how do you handle those moments when you hit a creative roadblock?
yeah. And you don't want to sound too rehearsed.
No, it's got to be natural.
So it's all about connecting those follow-ups back to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
your core process.
Yeah, to your authentic self.
So maybe your strength is in visual research.
Yeah.
Or maybe you thrive on collaboration
Uh-huh.
to overcome those mental blocks.
Right, everyone's different.
Exactly.
And it's okay to be different.
And don't be afraid to get specific.
Yeah, give them examples.
Like if they ask about overcoming challenges,
Mm-hmm.
have a concrete example ready.
Yeah, like a real life situation.
Maybe you had to pivot from a large-scale installation to a digital format
Okay, interesting.
because of some unforeseen circumstances.
Happens all the time.
And then you can talk about the problem-solving skills.
Right, like how did you adapt?
How did you adapt your vision?
Yeah, and what was the outcome?
And what was the positive outcome?
Yeah, you got to spin it in a positive light.
Right. Turn that potential weakness
Exactly.
into a showcase of your adaptability.
I love that.
And that's the kind of thinking that sets conceptual artists apart.
It's all about being resourceful.
Speaking of standing out,
Okay.
let's revisit that question about staying current with industry trends.
Yeah. How do you stay up to date?
We talked about showcasing your proactive approach,
Uh-huh.
but how do you handle those follow-ups? Like,
Okay.
what's a recent trend that excites you?
Okay.
Or can you give an example of how you've incorporated a new technique into your work?
This is where that RoleCatcher resource library comes in handy.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, having a few specific trends or techniques bookmarked could be a lifesaver.
Yeah.
So, for example, maybe you're fascinated by the intersection of bioart and technology,
Okay.
or you've been like experimenting with 3D printing
Uh-huh.
to create these like organic forms.
It's not just about name dropping, though.
No, you got to go deeper than that.
Connect those trends
Yeah,
back to your own artistic practice.
right. Make it personal.
So have you been inspired to explore new materials?
Uh-huh.
Challenge those traditional notions of form and function?
Right, because that's what conceptual art is all about.
And let your enthusiasm shine through.
Yeah, don't be afraid to geek out a little bit.
Yeah, they want to see your passion.
They want to see that you're excited.
Okay, speaking of contagious, let's move on to that problem-solving question.
All right, think outside the box.
We know it's coming, and we know we need to go
Yeah.
beyond just telling the story.
It's got to be more than just a good story.
And they'll probably dig deeper with follow-ups, like
Like what kind of follow-ups?
what were the biggest challenges you faced in that project?
Okay.
Or how did you measure the success of your solution?
They want to know you can think critically.
Yes, it's about demonstrating
Yeah.
those critical thinking skills that are essential
Essential.
for any conceptual artist.
And this is where those artistic research frameworks mentioned in the guide come into play.
Okay.
So like, did you research similar projects
Right.
or artistic precedents?
Uh-huh.
Did you explore like theoretical concepts
Right, yeah.
that informed your approach?
These details demonstrate
Yeah.
a depth of thought that goes beyond just practical problem solving.
It shows you're not just reacting, you're being proactive.
And remember, it's not about having all the answers.
No, it's big.
It's about your willingness to learn.
Yeah, and to adapt.
and to adapt.
Because the art world is constantly changing.
Speaking of learning and adapting, let's dive back into collaboration.
Oh, back to teamwork.
We talked about showcasing your teamwork skills,
Uh-huh.
but be prepared for those follow-up questions like,
Oh, yeah. Like what?
can you give an example of a successful collaboration?
Okay.
Or, how do you handle conflict within a team?
Ooh, that's a tough word.
Because conflict is inevitable
Oh, yeah, for sure.
in any creative process.
Especially when you've got a lot of strong personalities.
But it's how you navigate those disagreements
Exactly.
that matters.
So did you, like, actively listen to different viewpoints?
Yeah, did you find a compromise
Uh-huh.
that honored everyone's contributions?
Right.
Or maybe you facilitated a brainstorming session
Oh, yeah.
that led to a breakthrough idea.
I love brainstorming sessions.
These examples demonstrate your
Yeah.
ability to navigate
Right?
those complexities of working with others.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
And don't shy away from discussing those challenges.
Yeah, because sometimes things get tough.
Maybe a project hit a roadblock and you had to rally the team
Right. You got to be a leader.
to find a new direction.
Step up and take charge.
And these experiences, while potentially stressful,
Yeah, they can be stressful.
demonstrate your leadership skills
Yeah,
and your ability to maintain a positive and productive environment.
that's so important.
Exactly. It's all about showing that you can turn challenges into opportunities for growth.
I love that, turning challenges into opportunities.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers to those specific job roles.
It's like having a secret weapon.
So let's say the job description emphasizes collaborative leadership.
Okay.
The AI can suggest ways to frame your experiences
Oh, wow.
to highlight those specific skills.
So it's like having a personal PR agent for your interview,
Exactly.
helping you present yourself.
In the best possible light.
I love it. Okay.
Okay, so let's revisit that question
Yeah.
about accessibility and inclusivity.
Making sure your art is for everyone.
We talked about proactive thinking and concrete examples.
Yeah.
But what about those follow-up questions?
Okay,
Like, what are some specific steps you've taken to make your art more inclusive?
okay.
Or
Yeah.
how do you stay informed about evolving accessibility standards?
Because things are changing all the time.
And this is where you can showcase your dedication
Yeah.
to ongoing learning and growth.
Because it's a journey.
It is a journey.
It's not a destination.
So maybe you've attended workshops
Oh, cool.
on accessibility in the arts,
Yeah.
or consulted with organizations
Uh,
that advocate for diverse communities,
right. Because you want to learn from the experts.
or maybe you've incorporated audio descriptions into your work,
Yeah.
provided tactile elements,
Uh-huh.
or ensured that your website
Oh, yeah. That's important.
meets those accessibility guidelines.
A lot of people forget about the website.
These actions, however small,
Yeah.
demonstrate your commitment
To creating art that is welcoming and engaging.
for everyone.
I love that. And remember, it's okay to acknowledge
Yes.
areas where you're still learning.
It's okay to say, I don't know everything.
Exactly.
So maybe you're researching how to incorporate sign language interpretation
Oh, cool.
into your next performance piece.
Yeah.
Or exploring ways to make your interactive installations more accessible to people with mobility impairments.
It shows that you're thinking ahead.
And showing that you're actively seeking ways to improve
Yeah.
is huge.
It's a huge plus.
It's a huge plus, absolutely.
Because it shows that you're not just checking boxes.
Right.
You're genuinely invested in making the art world a more inclusive and equitable space.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to that question
Oh, yeah.
about handling criticism.
Handling criticism.
We know the initial question
Yeah.
is about turning feedback into improvement.
Right.
But how do you handle follow-ups? Like,
Okay.
what's the most valuable piece of criticism you've ever received?
Ooh, it's a good one.
Or how do you separate personal feelings from professional feedback?
Yeah, you got to be able to take it.
You gotta have thick skin.
It's about demonstrating your maturity and your professionalism.
Yeah, because criticism is part of the process.
So maybe a mentor challenged you to push your conceptual boundaries further,
Oh, that's a good one.
or a peer critique helped you identify
Yeah.
a blind spot in your process.
It's always good to get different perspectives,
And the key is to show that you're open to feedback,
even when it's tough to hear.
even when it stings a little bit.
Right, because you can learn from anything.
And remember, it's not about agreeing
No.
with every piece of criticism.
It's about finding those nuggets.
That's about
those
extracting
nuggets.
those valuable nuggets.
And using them to improve your work.
So maybe you received feedback that your installation felt too cluttered.
Okay.
Instead of being defensive, you took a step back,
Uh,
reevaluated the piece,
okay.
and found ways to simplify and streamline the visual language.
I love that.
That's a perfect example.
It shows that you can detach your ego from your work
Yeah.
and see it through a critical lens.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI video practice feature
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
can help you rehearse your responses
Yeah,
and get feedback on your tone and your delivery.
because sometimes how you say it
Right.
is just as important as what you say.
The AI can pick up on those subtle cues, like
What?
defensive body language
Oh, yeah.
or a wavering voice,
Interesting.
and help you project confidence
Yeah.
and composure.
So it's like having a virtual coach whispering tips in your ear,
Yeah.
helping you, refine your presentation.
Okay, let's shift gears
Okay, new topic.
and revisit that question about a project that you're particularly proud of.
One that you're really excited about.
Yeah, we talked about connecting it back to the job,
Uh-huh.
but what about those follow-ups?
Okay.
Like, what were the key takeaways from that project?
Oh.
Or how did that experience shape you as an artist?
Because every project teaches you something.
It really does. These questions were all about demonstrating
Yeah.
your ability to reflect and learn from your experiences.
Because that's what it's all about.
So maybe a project pushed you to experiment with new materials,
Okay?
and that led you to discover a passion for working with recycled plastics.
Oh, cool.
Or perhaps a challenging collaboration
Uh-huh.
taught you the importance of clear communication
Right.
and setting boundaries.
Boundaries are important.
These insights reveal a depth of thought
Yeah.
and a willingness to evolve as an artist.
Which are incredibly valuable.
Incredibly valuable.
Qualities in any candidate.
And don't forget to tap into those career stage examples in the guide.
Oh, yeah. That's a good resource.
See how experienced conceptual artists
Yeah.
articulate their journeys and their accomplishments,
Uh-huh.
and try to emulate that level of detail and self-awareness.
It's like studying the masters
It is.
and gleaning wisdom from their experience.
Speaking of journeys,
Yeah.
let's wrap up
Okay.
this second part of our deep dive
Ugh.
with that question about the future.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do you see yourself as a conceptual artist in 5 years?
That's a big one.
We talked about sharing your vision,
Yeah.
your ambition.
Your dreams.
But what about those follow-ups? Like,
Wait.
what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Okay.
Or what steps are you taking to achieve those goals?
Because they want to know you're serious.
This is where you can showcase your drive
Mm-hmm.
and your proactive approach.
Yeah. So maybe you're aiming to have a solo exhibition
Okay?
in a renowned gallery,
Uh-huh.
or maybe you're passionate about teaching and mentoring emerging artists.
That's a good one.
Whatever your aspirations are, you
Yeah.
got to connect them back to the job and
Yeah.
show how this position
Uh-huh.
aligns with your long-term vision.
Because it shows that you're not just looking for a job.
Right.
You're looking for an opportunity to contribute
To the art world.
to the larger artistic landscape.
Yeah.
And remember RoleCatcher's Career Compass tool
Oh, yeah. Don't forget about that.
can help you map out your journey
Yeah.
and identify those specific steps you can take to achieve your goals.
It's like having a roadmap for your career.
And it's not just about acing the interview.
Right.
It's about crafting a fulfilling and successful career.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And using tools like RoleCatcher
Yeah.
can help you stay focused and intentional.
Because it's easy to get sidetracked,
It is.
especially in the art world.
As you navigate your career path.
There are so many possibilities.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground
That's exhausting.
in this second part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
exploring those crucial follow-up questions
We've really gone deep.
and demonstrating how to turn them into opportunities to shine.
Turn those questions into opportunities.
So now get ready for part 3,
Okay, the final chapter.
where we'll unveil the power of RoleCatcher's AI
I'm excited.
and show you how to use it to tailor your answers,
Hmm.
practice your delivery, and boost your confidence to a whole new level.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so we've talked about those common conceptual artist interview questions.
Yeah, we've dug deep into those tricky follow-ups.
And now it's time to unleash the secret weapon,
The AI.
RoleCatcher's AI.
It's like having your own personal interview prep squad
Yeah, working behind the scenes.
to help you shine.
So we've mentioned tailoring answers to specific job roles.
Yeah, making sure your responses really hit the mark.
But how does RoleCatcher's AI actually do that?
Well, it's not magic.
Does it, like, read the interviewer's mind or something?
I wish.
Okay.
But it's pretty close.
Okay.
So RoleCatcher's AI analyzes thousands of job descriptions,
Uh-huh.
actual interview responses,
Okay.
employer feedback.
So it's like it's got all this data
So I got a ton of data.
on what works and what doesn't.
And it uses that data to understand what makes a candidate stand out.
So it's like having a team of career experts.
Yeah, crunching numbers
Crunching data.
to give you that inside edge.
Okay, and it goes beyond just like suggesting keywords or something.
Oh, yeah, it's much more sophisticated than that.
So RoleCatcher's AI helps you identify gaps in your experience,
Yeah, those areas where you might need to beef up your answers.
and then it highlights your transferable skills.
Yeah, showing them that you've got what it takes, even if you haven't done this exact thing before.
It can even suggest ways to reframe your answers.
Yeah, so you're speaking directly to the employer's needs.
It's like having a custom-tailored suit,
I like that analogy.
but for your interview responses.
Perfect fit.
Now, remember that AI video practice feature?
Oh, yeah, that's a game changer.
This is where the magic really happens.
Lights, camera, action.
Right, because it's not just about what you say.
Yeah, delivery is key.
It's how you say it.
You gotta bring the energy.
So you can record yourself answering those tough questions.
Okay.
And RoleCatcher's AI gives you feedback
On everything.
from your facial expressions
Uh-huh.
to your tone of voice.
No details too small.
It analyzes your body language,
Your pacing.
even your eye contact.
All those subtle cues that can make a big difference.
It's like having a personal acting coach.
But without the drama?
The AI even offers suggestions for improvement.
Yeah, so you can keep getting better.
Maybe you need to slow down your pace,
Or make more eye contact.
project your voice more effectively
It's like having a virtual director guiding you.
to that perfect performance.
And for a role like conceptual artist,
Yeah.
where you're expected to exude creativity and confidence,
Right.
this kind of feedback is invaluable.
It's like gold.
Pure gold.
So with RoleCatcher's AI, you're not just prepped, you're polished.
You're ready for the spotlight.
You're not just answering questions
You're telling your story
in a way that truly resonates.
and leaves a lasting impression.
Remember, RoleCatcher isn't just information,
It's more than that.
it's empowerment.
It's giving you the tools and the confidence to walk into that interview and own it.
And here's a final thought to leave you with.
I'm listening.
The guide mentions exploring alternative job titles for conceptual artists.
Oh, yeah, thinking outside the box.
So have you considered branching out?
Expanding your horizons.
Maybe there's a perfect fit out there you haven't even considered.
You never know what you might find.
So keep exploring,
Keep creating
and most importantly, believe in the power.
of your unique vision.
That's it for our deep dive into preparing for your conceptual artist interview.
Hope you found it helpful
We hope you feel inspired, empowered, and ready to make a splash.
in the art world.
Yeah, go out there and create something amazing